What's good, YouTube? Steven Sports Cards here, back with another video. Hope you're all doing well. I hope everyone had a blessed Christmas with your families. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And I don't know about the rest of y'all. Some of y'all might be still buying cards through the end of the year here. I'm sure there's plenty of good deals. I've seen a few things sell for really good deals. But I'm all tapped out, and my Christmas presents from my parents and from my wonderful girlfriend, Brittany, they kind of are that final stamp on the year that was Hobby 2024. And I got some amazing stuff. I'm going to get into it in this recap, but this year, once all the kind of the dopamine and the high of these final pickups wears off, you really start to think about the year that was. I know a lot of people think about what's next, but I like to reflect back and just be grateful for all the amazing friends that I made this year, all the amazing things that I added to my collection this year. As I say all the time, they're all wants. There's dozens of more items that I still want, and I will try to pick up over time. But I think it's really important to reflect back, to be grateful, to appreciate what you're able to pick up, and whether you've been collecting for a year or you've been collecting for decades, whether you've been on YouTube for a long time or you're very new to YouTube, I strongly suggest that everyone out there does a year in review type video, a recap of the year, pulls out all their pickups from the past year, the major pickups at least. There's some set needs and different things that I didn't pull out, but it really puts things into perspective. It really makes you appreciate how far your collection has came in the last year, and it makes you really excited to see what the next year has in store, as well, as a lot of people like to do. This was a VR I did last year for my buddy Hugo over at Signs of the Pastime, and I think it's going to be a yearly staple for the channel. I know this is only going to be my 15th video of the year, and if anything, what's next is trying to find ways to be more involved in 2025 in the YouTube community than I was in 2024. I talk to people every single week from YouTube, some guys daily, but it's important that I get back to being more involved, doing VRs, showing stuff off. There's some great stuff in here that you're gonna be like, Dom, why didn't this get a solo video? Well, life got away from me, and I didn't prioritize making YouTube content. And I apologize for that, but you're gonna see it here. I'm not afraid to show cards a second, third, fourth time in other videos. I know everyone can't catch them all. So we're going to get into it. There's a lot of great stuff here. I'm going to try to do it in chronological order from newest to oldest, and then I'm going to do my autographs at the end. I know that there's nobody above Leprechaun Size on YouTube that tends to do their year-end recaps that way. So, coming here as an average size person, I'm going to, step up for everybody and be that person that goes against the grain. Speaking of grain, minted 2024, the Drew of Vintage Legacy made these fantastic wooden card stands, all different types of wood, shades, etc. They fit oversized slabs, magnetics, everything. And they've been fantastic additions to my collection, to a lot of people's collections and man caves out there on YouTube. Drew always says he gets a kick of it when he sees them in the back of people's videos, but I always get a kick of it as well, because there's a really quality product made by a really quality friend that I finally had the pleasure of meeting this year in Cleveland. I did pick up some 2024 tops. I do like to pick up some rookies. I was really off on Evan Carter, an injury-filled season. Did not end up being the guy that everyone thought he would be, but I was spot on with Shota Imanaga, Cubs lefty, who, if Paul Skeens did not play as many games as he did this year, would have been the runaway NL Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. Shota Imanaga was extremely impressive coming over from Japan this year, has nasty stuff and a great attitude for the game. It's really exciting, to have a player like that in the league moving forward. He was expected to finish miles behind Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who, had some troubles adjusting to the Japanese game. from the Japanese game, but did really, really good down the stretch for the Dodgers on the way to the World Series, highest paid pitcher in MLB history. And Ellie De La Cruz, who was the big rookie from Series 1, and I said, hey, I'm fading Ellie. I think Evan Carter is a better prospect. Ellie had an amazing season without very many injuries, and Evan Carter ended up not having it. And that Ellie De La Cruz was actually in a care package that I didn't end up making a video for, from Jason, Everyday Card Collector, another friend that I finally got to meet for the first time this year in Cleveland. And he sent me a care package with a bunch of rookies, including that Ellie De La Cruz, as well as this Topps update Bobby Witt from 2022, two of the game's premier young players. Jason, I appreciate your friendship, man, and those gifts were awesome. There was a bunch of other great stuff in that care package, but those were the two highlights for sure. 2022 also is the first year of my new thing, Independence Day parallels. I've been seeing Shane Shoebox Legends, Dylan Double D, all picking these up, and I've always appreciated them, but never saw the need in picking them up. I figured being numbered to 76, that you have to pay a pretty penny for them. But when you collect a guy like Marcus Semien, you're able to get cards at a significant discount. And I got my first Independence Day parallel, 2022 Topps Marcus Semien, in the collection this year. And Shane graced me with not one, but two care packages this year. And one of them, extremely generous. Both of them had great Red Sox cards throughout and Legends of the Game. But one of them also had jersey cards and an autograph in it. Koji Uehara, Red Sox legend right there. And Chris Sale, who went on to win the 2024 NL Cy Young All-Star patch there. Shane, thanks so much for your influence, your friendship. You're someone that I can always hit up and talk about cards and, cry about our Boston sports teams. And it's a lot of fun talking baseball with you, brother. I prospect future rookies for, the Hall of Fame, and sometimes you're right on and sometimes you're not. But at the price point that I pick these guys up at, usually because they're not 10s, is very, very affordable. This was a 10, 2019 Topps Luis Ariz PSA 10, but Burbank Sports Cards sold this for $15 shipped. So at that price point, a guy who now has 3 batting titles in his career, I feel like is a very well worth investment. 2019 Topps Vladimir Guerrero Jr., no number, 8.5. He had a really great bounce back year that put him well back on the Hall of Fame track. He was still on it, but it really helped right the ship. 2016 Topps Trey Turner in an 8. I already had a raw copy of this, but the 8 was it was below $10 shipped. I couldn't say no to that. And probably the best player that I got a base rookie of this year, Francisco Lindor, 2015, no sparkle. He had a MVP caliber season. I know a lot of people said he played defense at shortstop. That means he's the MVP over Ohtani. Ohtani had a once-in-a-lifetime type of season. And Francisco Lindor, there's nothing wrong with a silver medal, bud. Well on the Hall of Fame track. Another influence from YouTube and just from me noticing something in the market was the Topps Gold rookies, because I always assumed the proven guys in a Topps Gold was significantly more than the PSA 10 because they're numbered. And they went back. They have a history all the way to 2001 being numbered. 1993 was the first year they did a Topps Gold parallel. And I was just like, oh, I just can't touch these. Maybe I'll spend up for 1 or 2 players I really like, but I'm not going to be able to get a bunch of these guys. And I saw some disparity in the market. There's some guys that are, I think, in a similar tier of stardom that have just as good of Hall of Fame odds that are selling for, sub $200 consistently. And I just wanted to take advantage of that before there's any kind of market correction or anything that goes one way or the other. And I got some amazing players. 2016 Topps Corey Seager Gold. That one's in an 8. But like I said, I don't care about the grades. They don't need to be 10s, especially with the golds, because there's only 22,000 blank of them. I can't afford to be that picky. So there's only that many of them. I want a good deal for the card. Corey Seager has been a fantastic hitter. 2014 Topps update Garrett Cole. injury plague season, but a guy who is well on the Hall of Fame path, 3,000 strikeout pace kind of guy who has a Cy Young under his belt. 2013 Topps update Nolan Arenado in a 9. Probably my favorite active player, a guy that I would have, spent the money on probably anyway, even if I didn't do this little side PC this year. Hashtag get the gold. Nolan Arenado, gold. I'm interested to see where he ends up in trade sometime in the next couple months here. But his 10-time gold glove power hitting career has been really, really fun to watch. 2011 Topps update, the newest New York Yankee. This is actually a Christmas gift from my mom. Paul Goldschmidt, gold, 8.5. Amazing player that I think if he retired this offseason would still be a Hall of Famer, but he wants to chase a ring, and I just hope that he doesn't end up being like some great players that go to the Yankees, clean shave, put on the pinstripes, and they lose all their swag and powers. But Paul Goldschmidt, a great career for both the Diamondbacks as well as the Cardinals, which are my National League team, so it's been really fun following his career in the National League, and now I have to root against him in the American League. And finally, this was my best buy, actually. 2011 Topps Gold, Freddie Freeman, a 7. I bought this right before the playoffs started, and this card has boomed significantly over what I paid. Freddie Freeman obviously had that amazing legendary status World Series with the walk-off grand slam and, hitting close to 400, and just an amazing player that finally got some national recognition. He's the same kind of thing as Goldschmidt. I think if he retired, he'd be a Hall of Famer, but he still has some years to tack on the counting stats and to maybe tack on another championship or two. 2010, Giancarlo Stanton, who if the Yankees won the World Series, I think his cards would have seen an even bigger bump because playoff Stanton was real. He was helping carry that offense all the way to the World Series. 500 home runs, well in the range of outcomes for this guy, and a guy that I enjoyed watching his prime in Miami very much. And these two aren't Hall of Fames, but I was on a gold kick, and these were just so ridiculously cheap. These are both former Cy Young winners. These are both former Red Sox. Rick Porcello, 2009 Topps Gold, and David Price, Topps Gold. I have actually a pretty sizable little side PC of David Price, a guy that I really liked before he came to Boston, and then, I was one of the few guys in Boston that wasn't giving him a hard time while he was here. So that's my gold experiment for 2024. There's a few more guys on my list that I'd like to pick up in 2025, and then there's some other guys that, over the years might get on my radar enough to be picked up. But I'm going to try to be a little more proactive in the Topps Gold market because there's definitely windows to get them affordably before they get well past the $200 range, like some of these big stars that are going through your head sell for. This was a nice year for the Pujols collection. Got this from the National from my good buddy Will Steff, the MLB Showdown 2001 foil. BGS 9. Card that was pretty high on my want list, actually. The 2001 Fleer Authority Albert Pujols, numbered to 2001. It was my big Christmas birthday gift to myself, and this is numbered to the same amount as the Topps Gold, but sells for significantly less. I think the image is really clean. I love the red box, and it's a numbered Pujols rookie, and this is a guy who I just think, we talk about windows. The Hall of Fame window is very real, and Pujols, despite retiring with over 3,000 hits, over 2,000 RBIs, over 700 home runs, people just stopped collecting his cards, it seems like, and they're going to start buying him back up again in 2028 when he gets elected. So I don't understand it. I'm going to continue to look for deals on Pujols stuff, and he's selling for a lot lower than he should be because he's a truly inner circle hitter. This next one is the 2001 Fleer Premium Albert Pujols, and this is numbered to 1999. Great image of him fielding there. He got very little credit as a fielder because of how great of a hitter he was, but he's a 2-time Gold Glove winner, and during at least his prime, before he got a little big in Anaheim, he was, making all the plays at first base, including some that were not very routine, over in St. Louis, and I think that's part of his game that kind of gets lost in the story because of how great his hitting stats are. Picked up a couple 90s guys. This is one I wish I got before he got elected to the Hall of Fame. 1993, Topps traded Todd Helton, who's a new Hall of Fame elect. I didn't get this during his window, and the card shot up for a while, and then I ended up getting this in a deal because it's in the old SGC slab. I just want the card, people. This one, 1992 Fleer Update, Jeff Kent in an 8. I've been looking for this card for a while, and I've seen them sell for under $10 and missed them, and I finally got one that was under $10 in an 8. He's a guy that I think will be picked up in an era committee very, very soon. Now we jump past the entire decade of the 80s. It's not an era that I really collect a lot of. There's a few potential Hall of Fame rookies that I don't have that I'd like to pick up, a few different parallels and inserts and stuff, but for the most part, the 80s is a decade that I don't really collect, which, kind of comes back to, you'll see later, another decade that I don't really collect. So we're in the 70s now, and this first one is a 1978 Coca-Cola Braves team set with Dale Murphy, Phil Necro, and the rest of the team in between. And this was a pickup at Shriners back in November, and hobby hero Sammy Thunder was actually the reason I was able to acquire this, because I was out of cash, and the dealer that I had bought from already threw this in the case for $5 late in the show when he was getting sold out. And I was like, $5? The Murphy alone sells for more than that. Didn't have the cash. Sammy stepped up and helped me out. Sammy also helped me add some 78 sportscasters to my collection of my guys. Got this fantastic image of Lou Brock. Got this awesome Frank Robinson image that's been used a bunch of times. And I got what was kind of the missing piece for my Yastrzemski sportscaster run, the hidden ball trick. All picked up from him when he was setting up in Milford earlier this year. Sammy, really appreciate your friendship. I'll get to a couple other things later as well. But yeah, Sammy was a great dealer, is an amazing collector, and an even better friend. 1976. This was a national pickup. This is the Linettes. This is an unopened Red Sox package with Carl Yastrzemski, Fred Lynn, Dwight Evans, Fergie Jenkins, and Rico Petrocelli's on the back as well. Really cool piece there for the Yaz collection. I had the Linette actually graded, but I did not have the unopened pack, so that was a really nice get for the Yaz collection. This is a 2 of 3 Christmas gifts from my girlfriend. 1976 RC Cola, Carl Yastrzemski. I've wanted one of these for so long, and this was the smallest thing she got me, and she was so surprised at how excited I was to get this. I've almost bought this dozens of times, just haven't pulled the trigger, but my lovely girlfriend came through and got me a Carl Yastrzemski item that I've really wanted, and RC Cola is just so cool. I wish they did more stuff like this. The other thing that she got, and this is going to be a little harder to show, 1975 King Don's Hostess Complete Box, Al Oliver, Andy Messersmith, and a rookie card of Robin Yount. Shout out a Dylan Double D Vintage. I've wanted one of these for a long time. They pop up on eBay actually pretty often for under $100, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on one, mainly because I don't know how I'm going to store this. I don't know if I'm going to keep it folded and put it in a top loader this way, or if I'm going to find an oversized top loader or frame it, or what I'm going to do yet. But really, really cool oddball item, a rookie card of a Hall of Famer. Like, it checks a lot of boxes for my collection. So I really appreciate her, finally taking 2 things off my list that have been on there for a long time, and getting really great examples of them as well. She has a pretty good eye for these things. So 1974, talked about rookie oddball items. Stamp sheet with Dave Parker, new Hall of Fame elect. There's also a couple Hall of Famers on there as well. And my guy Reggie Smith, who I think should be in the Hall of Fame. So a little stamp panel there with a rookie card. A birthday gift from my girlfriend to go with my proof that I picked up last year at Shriners. 1973 candy lid of Jim Catfish Hunter, a guy that I've been building a pretty sizable oddball 70s PC of. Really great card there. Was my first one of those candy lids. Another oddball rookie card here, 1971 Dell Stamps, Bert Blyleven. I picked up a whole Twins team set, mainly for this one, but there's also Hall of Famers Jim Cott, Tony Oliva, Rod Carew, Harmon Killebrew, and hopeful Louis Tiant. So really, really great deal I got on the lot, and wanted this one most of all. This is a great year for adding Milk Duds to the collections. One of my favorite oddball sets, the 1971 Milk Duds. I got 4 complete boxes of Hall of Famers this year. Fergie Jenkins. I know I haven't shown that one on the channel. Willie McCovey. I picked up this Ernie Banks at Shriners in November. Really minty box there. And Frank Robinson picked up at the National from Woody, a really great dealer there, who I was his first guy that came by the table. He was just like, I have to make a deal with the first guy. You can't walk away. What price gets it done? And he gave me a fantastic price on this Frank Robinson Milk Duds, which was the biggest one I wanted because there's no Carl Yastrzemski in the set. I talk about the vintage sales thread on Twitter, the card story that does it. Every Wednesday night, and I haven't bought a lot off there this year, but there was one deal that I just could not say no to. So in 1970, the MLBPA put out these photos, which you may or may not have seen the photos before. But these photos actually came with a watch. So I have the Ernie Banks original watch. The watch does not work, but I got the watch with the photo for a price that I still can't believe. A really, really fantastic piece that you don't see every day. There's a Carl Yastrzemski out there. I've seen the photo once or twice, but I've never seen the Yaz watch, and I'm definitely going to be on the hunt for one. So if you see a Yaz watch like this, they're unlicensed caps because they're only MLBPA, please, please, please let your boy know. This was a really fun pickup off of that sales thread this year. And you never know what you're going to find when you go on that sales thread. Sometimes it's a lot of the iconic pre-war and post-war stuff, and sometimes there's guys selling things that really pique my interest. Moving on, because there's still so much more to show. We're into the 60s now. More Sammy Thunder pickups. 1969 Globe Imports. I got the Frank Robinson and the Carl Yastrzemski from him, my 2 guys. Also picked up the 1969 stamp, top stamp of Carl Yastrzemski from Sammy in Milford. Picked this up at a local show, 1969 decal Bob Gibson. This one's really nice. In the same deal, I got this 68 Atlantic Oil Orlando Cepeda for under $5. I love that set. In Shriners, I met Reggie Smith, who I just said earlier should be in the Hall of Fame, and I got him to autograph a rough copy of his 67 Topps rookie card for me for $20 or $25. I could not say no. It was apparently going to be his last signing on the East Coast, as he's an LA man. So I'm glad that I got to meet him. Me, Mark Hoyle, and Dan's Vintage Baseball PC all got autographs together, and it was really cool. He was in a rush to catch a flight, so I couldn't take as much video or pictures as I would have liked to of that interaction, but I got the card and the memory forever. Vada Pinson, one of my favorite players outside the Hall of Fame, 1966 Venezuelan. The back's actually pretty clean on this one. So I picked that up. 1965 Topps, I'm building the set, but I found this Gaylord Perry slabbed and authenticated already autograph for a steal of a deal. So I picked that up as an upgrade to my Gaylord Perry autograph in my collection. 1965 Topps Transfer Yaz was one that was on my list that I didn't have yet. It's PSA 1, but it looks great. At Shriners this year, my final pickup was this 1965 Cardinals photo pack, J Publishing, which had, Hall of Famer Red Shandies as the manager, should be Hall of Famer Ken Boyer, and this was the image that really sold me on it, of Bob Gibson. Just a fantastic, fantastic image of him there. A little out of order here because it got messed up with the pictures. 67 Topps poster of Carly Stremski. This was actually a gift at the National from Theo Clemente Collector. He was walking the show floor with me after I was out of cash, and he looked through some Topps posters, and he was like, "You have the Yaz, right?" And I was like, "I actually don't have the Yaz because I'm pretty picky with the posters." And he picked, all 3 Yaz's out of the case and was like, "Which one do you like best?" And he bought it for me right there at the show. It was really, really nice of him, and great to see Theo again in Cleveland. National pickup here with my money. The Challenge the Yankees Hasbro set 1964, Carly Stremski. Picked up a lot of great Yaz stuff this year, and this was no shortage of it. Really fantastic deal that I got on this. I got a dealer to break up the complete set. He had the complete set with the game board, and he broke it up for me to buy the Yaz. I was like, I wouldn't do this myself, but if you're going to do this for me, I will certainly do it. Another Yaz here, 1964 Wheaties stamp. Another one, but looks fantastic, and that's what matters. I want the card. And, sometimes you get a good deal with them slabs. Sometimes you get good deals raw. Sometimes you get them in high grades or low grades. It just depends, Got to buy within your budget and just have a lot of fun. This was a really fun pickup. Lou Brock, my birthday buddy. 1964 Transferette rub-ons. These are really, really tough. Low PSA pop. I put John Mangini onto these, and he bought the entire Cubs uncut sheets still in the packaging earlier this year, and I'm really proud of that. 1965 Bazooka box was under all this, so a little out of order again, but this was my big birthday gift from my girlfriend Brittany, my first complete Bazooka box with Hall of Famer Jim Bunning on it. Really, really great condition for a 1, and it's just a great miso Americana. The Bazooka cards have been shooting way up. The complete boxes are hard to find, and I'm just really, really honored to own this, especially coming from someone special. We're in the home stretch, folks. I know this is a long video for me. It was my longest video ever last year, and it's going to continue to be one of my longest videos I put out, but a lot of great stuff for everybody, no matter what your interests are, player-wise, set-wise, etc. And, I think it's a lot of great stuff. This was a big want for the collection, Frank Robinson-wise. 1963 French Bauer milk cap of Frank Robinson. I've been wanting one of these for a long time. They did the entire Reds team, which means, I had to get the Veda Pinson as well. So super, super stoked to add those. 1962 Pittsburgh exhibit, which was actually funded by my girlfriend yet again. Yeah, she's added some really amazing stuff to my collection this year, and she's not done. There's one more big one at the end here to stay tuned for. 1962 Pittsburgh exhibit, Ken Boyer. These were distributed at Kennywood Amusement Park over in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and just really, really awesome. Ken Boyer, a guy that I think should be in the Hall of Fame, and I got a really, really nice price on this one the last day I was at the National, thanks to her giving me some extra funds, saying, buy a card on me. I picked up a couple Topps Bucks from 1962. Got this in a bargain bin at William Chapel. It's shining through. Early win. As well as from my good buddy Michael, locally here. Frank Robinson. You don't see my finger. Those are really, really fun cards. I have these Stremski, and now I have another couple Hall of Famers. My first pickup of the year was a Hall of Fame rookie, Juan Marichal, in a PSA 3. I got this for a steal of a deal. It's very well centered, and a guy, the Dominican dandy, that I have a lot of respect for. So there are actual regular Topps cards here that are not modern as well. Another one right here, a Christmas gift for my dad. These next two are 1960 Topps Sandy Koufax in a PSA 2, and he actually said I picked this one out because it was nicely centered, and me and my dad don't really talk about cards that much anymore, let alone condition, and the fact that he had the mindset and eye to find a centered 2 really made me smile, and I thanked him a lot for helping add another Sandy Koufax to the collection. He also added this just banger of a 59 Fleer Ted Williams, how Ted hit 400. He liked the portrait, and it's dead center, great color, fantastic card as well. So my dad added some cards to my collection this year. That's always really special. Another 59 Fleer that was added to my collection was in my never-ending trade series with Jake over at Legends Never Die, who I had the pleasure of, spending the entire trip in Cleveland with, a guy who I talk to every day, and me and him have our podcast, Cracking Cooperstown, that, in the year in review, we got, to be on Hobbypalooza, and that was a really special moment for me. I've been watching Hobbypalooza for years, and, to be a part of it and to have the show that we had, which I thought was really good and had a really fun time, was really special with him. He sent me a lot of great stuff through the care packages, but this one I still can't believe he sent me because I've been wanting this card forever and I just haven't found one. This is the Ted Williams All-Star Game Hero from the set. One of the biggest moments of his career. And, just amazing picture there of him slapping hands with Joe DiMaggio at home plate. Just really, really cool. Sammy Thunder, I told you you'd be mentioned again, my friend. He bought this card at Strongsville, and I was shocked at the price he was able to get it for. And I knew he was looking for the maze eventually. And I kind of put in his ear, well, if you get the maze and you think about moving off the Cepeda, let me know. And right before we went away to the National, he got the maze. I reminded him that I was interested in the Cepeda. I made him a strong offer, and he was just like, I'd love to sell this to you. The 1958 San Francisco Call Bulletin glared to all heck Orlando Cepeda rookie issue. These are really, really tough, especially to get with the lottery tab still attached. And I don't care about the grade on this. This is just a card that I haven't been able to find for a good deal. In years, I've been looking for it. And I was able to pick it up from a friend, which makes it that much more special. This was my last big pickup of 2024 with my money. There's been a lot of great gifts and hookups here, but this was my last big purchase, and this is another card that I missed out on a couple years ago. Didn't think I was going to be picking up this year, and then it popped up. Greg Morris did a set break of the 1952 Star Cal decals, and had poor condition ones, which they're old decals. They're gonna be not in the best condition. I got the Mini Minoso rookie Star Cal decal type 1. I'm so excited to own this. I own the Yogi Berra from the set, but this was, I think, fairly the toughest rookie issue of Cepeda from 52. This really, really is special to own as a Minoso fan. It is still in the red envelope packaging, which I said on my first video when I showed off the Yogi, that it even says on the back that you should display it on your trash can. I'm glad that in 1952, whoever took this off the shelf decided not to do that, because now it's in my collection forever. Really, really pumped. And this is what I'm talking about. Deserved its own video. This deserved its own video, and it didn't get one. I might do a Minoso video once I complete his rookie run. I'm very close. Speaking of, I did pick up his 52 Burke Ross from Brian, B Ross 6, another great hobby friend this year. So I'm getting really close to finishing his rookie run. But until then, this Star Cal decal will be a, oh my God, he has that highlight of this video. 1952 is not done. Num Num, in my last card show of the year, Num Num Potato Chips Early Win, which has a great in-depth bio on the back. I picked this up from Michael as well, a set that I've been wanting for a long time. This is without the tab, but they don't give it a number grade without the tab. So, there's a give and take there for the people that like the grade or like the card. I just wanted to own one, and I'm very excited to own something from that set. I'd love to pick up, the Dobie or the Feller with the tab down the line. 1952, like I said, it's not done. This was my first post-national pickup, which I showed in a live stream, but I don't think I've showed in a video on my channel. 1952 Wheaties, Roy Campanella with that fantastic famous image of his. And this card is graded authentic I believe it says minimum size not met. So someone cut this a little small, but it's still rounded corners. It still looks like the card's supposed to look. And it's just a fantastic example that because of that authentic, I had way less competition on it than I would have otherwise. So really happy to add this, my first 52 Wheaties, my first Campanella card. It checked a lot of boxes for the PC. Couple big national pickups coming up. 1947 Sports Exchange miniatures of Ted Williams, SGC3. I got this basically as like a throw-in with another card that I'll get to later. The price that he had this marked at just seemed way too low, and based on comps of other cards from this set, I think I got a really, really fantastic deal on it. And I'm just really honored to own another Playing Days Ted Williams. This is a card that was on my want list for a while, and a dealer had like 6 of them. The 43 M&P Company, Johnny Mize, the big cat. My grandfather always talks very fondly of Johnny Mize, and I have a little side collection of his. 1936 wide pen of Rick Farrell, great catcher image there. Picked this up from Brian earlier this year. And talking about catcher images, this card was the pickup of the National for me. Obviously, the friendships and the memories will last forever, but this card is the embodiment of that whole thing because I usually go into these big shows without any agenda. As you can see, my interests are all over the place. But for whatever reason, the last couple months leading up to the National, I had seen this card in a Facebook group, and it just shot to the top of my want list. And I figured, being in Ohio and this being a Reds team set, that my odds would be higher. So I had that in the back of my head, and thankfully I put that in the back of my crew's head. I showed Sammy, Jake, and Drew a picture of the card before we went into the National the first day, and just told them, I'm interested in picking one up for around this price. Let me know if you find one. And Drew had never seen the card before, and he was actually the one that found it. Not just this one, but he found the other 2 that were at the show as well. I had multiple dealers telling me that that's something you have to look for on an auction house. I don't think you'll find any here. And Drew found 3 of them, including this one that I bundled with that Ted Williams miniature. 1939 Cincinnati Reds, Ernie Lombardi. Just such a beautiful catcher card right there. That image is fantastic. It has that Burke Ross color to it, but it's a lot clearer of an image. And these are just really, really fantastic. They did them in 38 and 39. And the reason I know this is a 39 is because it talks about him being the most valuable player and winning the batting crown in 1938. So really, really special. And the fact that Drew, who had never seen the card before in his life, was just oh, I found it for you. Come over here, and worked out a deal. It was really, really special. And a moment I will not forget. My oldest vintage pickup here was from Jake, Legend Never Die. I traded him in our never-ending trade my one T206 in my collection, a Neil Ball, Cleveland, and I was on the hunt for another one, and I found out that there was a T206 Wagner that was in my price range, and he played for the Boston Red Sox. So I have a T206 H. Wagner, Heine Wagner, and I just love this card. The fact that I can say I own a T206 Wagner and only be half joking is really cool. It's a beautiful image. I love the blue sky and the green grass. And I don't love the headshot T206s. I know a lot of people like the portraits, but I like when they're posed with a bat or a glove or winding up or something. And this just checked a lot of boxes for me. Piedmont back, really nice too. And, Jake helped me pick this up at a show local to him that I would have never seen the card. Now, I know we're already 40 minutes in, but we're going to get to the autograph section of the show, which is really, really special. I started keeping track of Hall of Fame autographs in late 2023, and I now have 76 different Hall of Fame autographs in my collection and counting. It's really, really fun to have that goal of 100 and to now prioritize certain names over others. before I get into that, I got this awesome replica of the Yastrzemski statue outside of Fenway. That was a stadium giveaway a few years ago. Got that as a gift for my mom as well. But we're going to get into the autographs here. I picked up a lot of great stuff this year. All these guys are, Hall of Famers or really special to me. And we'll get right into it. So before we get into the Hall of Famers, I'll show off. I finally picked up a Marcus Semien autograph. I've been hyping this guy up for 2.5 years, and I was just waiting for a good deal on an on-card auto. Really nice, Topps pristine right there for the collection. These were national pickups, 1976 SSPC puzzle pieces of Jim Cott and Rod Carew. Also got this Golden Moments, Ralph Kiner. Ron Santo cut. Billy Williams, Silver Sticker for the win. These three were not national pickups, but I picked up at local shows and shops this year, just when I saw them cheap. Lee Smith. Hoyt Wilhelm from Fleer Greats of the Game, great set there. And Tony Perez. This guy's about to be a Hall of Famer and make it 77. I picked up this amazing patch autograph of CC Sabathia from Leaf Limited. Silver Stickers for the win, Lou Rock. I really, really love this card. And, I was just trying to get a CC autograph, and I ended up, buying this for what I thought I was going to have to pay for an on-card CC Sabathia autograph. So was very, very thrilled to pick that up. It's a sick card. Got 2 Yaz autos in the collection this year. One from that sales thread, $35 shipped. On his last card, the 84 Fleer, has all his career stats on the back. Beautiful blue signature. Really, really awesome. Add another Yaz at $35, I can't say no. And this one was free $99 because Bradley Claus kept me on the nice list somehow this year. Brad, I really, really appreciate you. I know I did a whole video about this, but he gave me a Perez Steele, Great Moments, Carl Yastrzemski, beautiful bold signature, already encapsulated by PSA. Way, way too generous, and I appreciate your friendship, Brad. I saw that a lot of people were able to hit you back this year, and I really think that you deserve even more than that, because the breadth of things that you get for people and the amount of channels that you gift every year, it really boggles my mind. Speaking of boggling my mind, these are 3 autographs that I didn't think I was going to own. If you asked me a couple years ago, I was like, oh, no, I'll never own those. But I prioritized Hall of Fame autographs a little bit, and the goal for my first half of the year was to get a Willie Mays autograph. And I know I've shown this a bunch of times, but I'm going to keep showing it because I love it. I haven't seen too many autograph examples bolder than this one, and it's on a 1964 J Publishing photograph, slab by PSA. It truly is the one for me, and I'm so honored to own it. I'm so upset that he passed away on my birthday nonetheless. But, he lived a long, long life and is the greatest player to ever wear a baseball uniform, in my opinion. So this was a big, big gift to myself. And the next 2 are big, big gifts to me. Starting off with my mom. She got me, that Carly Yastrzemski statue. She got me the Paul Goldschmidt gold. She got me the sweatshirt. She got me a lot of nice stuff. But the big kahuna was a Ken Griffey Jr. autographed Highland Mint, serial numbered, beautiful bold blue signature, and just really, really epic. Really, really epic to own an autograph of the kid. 2 great 24s there between Willie Mays and Ken Griffey Jr. But my next goal after I got the Willie Mays and after the National pass, my next big hobby goal was to pick up a Sandy Koufax autograph for the collection. And, same kind of ideal, mindset as the Mays is he's getting older, he's an Inner Circle Hall of Famer, his autograph isn't super prevalent, and there's going to be some aspect of spike when he eventually passes on. And I hope Sandy Koufax lived a long, happy life. Part of the reason he retired early was to live a long, happy life. But my big Christmas gift from my girlfriend, I got a little allergied up. Hall of Fame postcard, Sandy Koufax, JSA'd. Really nice pen signature there. It's not faded at all. And I have a Sandy Koufax autograph in the collection. A year where you're able to add, both Willie Mays and Sandy Koufax is a great year within itself. Not to mention the other 40 minutes of stuff you just looked through, and I'm sure there's some smaller pickups and gifts that I didn't realize were picked up this year that were along for the ride. But I really appreciate each and every one of you who stuck with the video this long. I know this is a lot longer than most people like to listen to. I know this is a lot longer than I typically put out. But I appreciate each and every one of you that has supported me, both on this channel with the Crack in Cooperstown podcast with Jake. The playlist is on my channel as well. And my Solo Shot Sports podcast that, I didn't do this past weekend, but I will be, going every Solo Shot Saturday from January the 6th through Christmas. And I just really, really appreciate all the support, all the friendship, all the advice, all the amazing comments and information that I get on my videos, whether it be me providing information or a set to other people that had not seen it, or vice versa, learning something about an issue or a player that I did not know prior. This community is just so amazing, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. Heading into 2025, I definitely want to make more than 15 videos next year. That's definitely a New Year's resolution, and I have a plan on how to do that. And I'm very excited to, become more involved in the content side of the community next year, when this year kind of got away from me a little bit. But I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope every one of you has a safe New Year's and a blessed year. I'm excited to watch all your guys' Christmas videos with your final pickups and gifts that you got this year as well. Comment below what your favorite item was that I showed today. I know I showed a breadth of different things. I'd love to hear what you liked the most. And like I said, for all of you out there that make content, whether you just started or you've been making content for years, I think doing this kind of recap and pulling everything out and seeing just the piles of stuff, no matter how your collection is, you're going to accumulate a decent amount throughout the year. Just seeing the breadth of what you're able to pick up in a year really helps put things in perspective. It really helps you understand how grateful you are, and it makes you appreciate the year that you had so much more. So I strongly recommend all of you go out there and do the same thing. I know it's going to be a yearly staple here on my channel. Happy New Year, everybody. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.